It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to Musical, Lyrical, Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
and LJ. Today and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us.
Do you know, I'm just thinking, I never look at that camera.
I know, because you always try and pretend it's not there.
Oh, is that the point?
Oh, no. I just mean you always try and pretend that it's not there.
But should I be looking at the camera?
Well, I do know. I think that's weird. Why would you be just looking at the camera like that whenever I'm sitting beside you and we're doing a podcast together?
Yeah,
You're not
that's
doing a podcast with the camera.
Yes, so I'm fine looking into your eyes. That's all right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Why,
Amazing.
after so many episodes, are you all of a sudden questioning that? Because you thought you've been doing it wrong this whole time? Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I just am looking to improve on myself.
Okay, I'm sorry for being so harsh there.
Every day is a learning day. Lauren, gee whiz. Anyway, let's get straight into it. No tangents today, folks.
Yes. I hope you like it, Ian.
Yeah, like he's listening. That's my father, in case anybody's wondering. He gave some unwanted feedback. Advice? Listen to a few more podcasts before he gives me advice. Or episodes of ours. Anyway, how are those comments coming in? Are we getting loads of lovely comments from people?
People are like, keep going, Tim and LJ, we love you.
You're trying.
I know.
Anyway, this week is slightly different, as you said at the end of last week's podcast. Mm-hmm. So we've kind of given ourselves a little bit of a challenge. We're kind of...
And can I say, I loved it.
Yeah, it was good fun. We'll do it. We will definitely do this again because it was really interesting.
Uh-huh.
And it forced you to go and actually listen to new things.
I think that's what it is. It was listening to something, completely new, fresh, and going, okay, I don't know much about this, and there maybe isn't much a background about it.
Yeah.
So then kind of coming up, I don't know, I found this very therapeutic.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
So, you had the idea, didn't you?
I think so.
So, what was the idea you had? What was the challenge you've set us?
So, I thought that it would be really fun if we give each other suggestions of musicals to listen to, and then we would come together having listened to a musical that was new to us, and then talk about it from sort of what we learned from that musical.
And I think that was the point, trying to get musicals that we don't know very much about. So we gave each other a list of 5, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then it was up to us to choose which one intrigued us the most, and to go forth with it and do the usual thing we would do, is find out what the show was about and what we learnt from having listened to it. So some of the musicals, like, you wouldn't have even realised they were out there. So hopefully for listeners today, you'll be going, I didn't even know that was a musical.
Yeah.
How do you want to do this? Are you going to do yours and then I do mine, or...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
So who's going first?
I'll go first.
Okay, so...
But I want you to, so say what you give me.
Yeah, okay, so the choices that Lauren had from me were... And I have listened to all of these, they're 5 that I really enjoyed. So, listeners, if there are any you haven't come across, do give them all a listen, because they're all really good. I would love to see them all live, I have to say. So choice number 1 was Fantastical Great Women Who Changed the World. Then there was Millennials Are Killing Musicals, and I particularly liked that title, an original Off-Broadway cast recording. Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. Didn't mean anything by it, Lauren. I just thought that sounds like a really interesting musical. I hope she doesn't slap me, and she didn't, so it was okay. Fisherman Friends, the musical, which is relatively new, 2023 musical. And then I was like, we need to go a wee bit older, just to cover all bases. So I found a musical that I've only listened to recently called Jelly's Last Jam, which is a 1992 musical. So those were your 5 choices. Fantastical Great Women Who Changed the World, Millennials Are Killing Musicals, Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, Fisherman Friends the Musical, and Jelly's Last Jam.
Yeah.
What did you...
So my thought process, I'm going to go. So Jelly's Last Jam, I was like, it was more like jazz music, isn't it? So I was like, I have to be in the right frame of mind to listen to that type of music. So that was kind of gone straight away. I have listened to quite a lot out of those Fantastically Great Women, so I didn't want that one because I wanted to come to something new. Fisherman one, I felt like it was going to be too much like the sea shanty chant, which just from being a follower on TikTok was too much in my head, and I didn't want that.
Not fresh enough for you.
So yeah, I was like, no. And
not the fresh catch of the day. See what I'm doing there? Boom, boom.
And then
I'm looking at the camera.
I had heard of Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. So again, the only one that I hadn't, like nothing, was Millennials Are Killing Musicals. And I love the fact that I'm a millennial. I thrive on it. I will totally be like, yeah, that's because I'm a millennial, all of that stuff. So I was like, that is the one I'm going with.
And secretly, that was one of the reasons I put it in there. It's like, Lauren's such a millennial. She never stops going on about it. As millennials. And I thought, you know what, I'll throw it in for a bit of a gag. Right, okay.
So that was it. And boy, am I glad. 1, that was one of the ones you suggested, and 2, that was the one I picked. I have fallen mad over at whatever that is.
Madly in love,
head over heels.
There was a bit of a
mix. I was mixing it up there. I love it.
I've never seen you so excited.
Oh my goodness. This musical spoke to me in so many different ways.
Okay, tell us about the musical then.
So, Millennials Are Killing Musicals is a new musical that talks about being honest on social media. Okay. So it has been in development for 4 years. It's a triple threat, as in it was written, composed by Nico Juber, I think that's how you say her name, who in 2023 was named on the Woman to Watch list for Broadway. It was slightly co-written by Joe Bioris and developed by the New York Theatre Barn. So it's very much a bit of Me Too, where there's a real creative, collaborative effect, and it was Off-Broadway. And in a church setting.
Is that New York Theatre Barn then?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I just, it's so fresh and so new. So it was only like announced in May 2023 that there was going to be an Off-Broadway version, and there was going to be a cast recording as well done. So what we're only in like May 24, so this is still really new.
You were so excited. Your face is beaming. This is hilarious.
I love it. Okay, so it is about Brenda, who is a single mum who is struggling to figure out how to parent and do life. It's fun, it's funny, but it's almost sitcom-like. It's 90 minutes long. For me, it was just different, I suppose, from what we have been doing on the podcast, and the only way I could describe a similarity to it would be I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change.
Okay, you're freaking me out.
Why?
We'll wait until we get on to my choice, and I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change might return. Okay. Interesting.
So there aren't many documentaries on this for those that know that I love a documentary, and because it is so fresh and new, there isn't a lot. Like, there's not even the lyrics somewhere. So I've really had to listen to this. There are interviews with Nico on YouTube and little TikTok snippets here and there, and I've seen some workshops and some little like late evening people singing in bars some of the songs. I've done what I can to kind of get a good enough feel of it, but because it's so different, I thought it was just really fresh. And the questions are urged within this musical about what is personal, because there's this blur now with the use of social media. So what do we keep to ourselves and what do we share?
Yeah.
And it's about a mum. I'm not a single mum. I have a very loving, devoted husband.
He's sleeping in the corner.
He's sleeping in the corner. But I have some of the same worries, questions, and identity problems as Brenda. Okay. So whenever listening to some of the songs, I got it. I understood it. No, I'm saying that I don't think you need to be a mum to understand this. No, but I think it helps.
But that's so. We've also listened to each other's choices, just so that when Lauren's talking about millennials, I know what she's maybe talking about. And when I was listening to it, I went, actually, Lauren's going to love this because there's a lot of songs which for a parent and that kind of observational quality like a lot of the songs have and the things that they're mentioning about being a parent, I was like, I guarantee you Lauren's going to have chuckled at that, or Lauren's going to have rolled her eyes at that. And I'm not a parent, but I was like, oh my goodness, I can see where you're gonna have gone, that's so funny, that's so true type thing. So in an interview, Nico said that it's the title Millennials Are Killing Musicals is meant to be tongue-in-cheek because we have gone through life sort of hearing, you're killing that, you're killing conversation because of social media, you're killing whatever. So she thought it would just be interesting to write a musical and say Millennials Are Killing Musicals. So clever title. So it is about 3 different women who are really dealing with the loss of their own identity in women, in motherhood, as well as this unhealthy relationship we have with social media. It really does focus on Brenda though. But sort of how we let our lives be filtered, which in turn keeps us from reaching our authentic happiness. So millennials have gone through a lot. We've become good at humour and escapism, and that's what I feel like this musical is. Sure. There's a lot of realness in it. So there's 15 songs. That was a lot to get through.
It was, fair.
You chose it.
So we have the first song, which is called Adulting, and it's about I dreamt of this place where everything is great and you understand life and you understand your career and you have everything mapped out, and then you get to it and that's not adulting. Adulting is struggling. The struggle of life as an adult. So that's funny. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out the names of the songs because they're quite funny. So we have Adulting, then we have I'm Basic, we have Jake's Mum, we have Just Like Gwyneth Did, we have Trigonometry, Never Alone, On a Plane, Yamaro, Literally the Best, Santa Don't Go, Somehow You Both Survived, and Who I Am. Okay? Yeah. So in Jake's Mum, so I didn't really have any real musical lyrical lingos with this. It was just more the learning about this musical. In Jake's Mum, she is singing about how this mum, Jake's mum, her hair is always perfect and she's bringing buns to the PTA and she has, a baby on one hip and she looks beautiful and she's gorgeous and how does she do it and her children never speak back and blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have all felt that.
A picture of perfection.
Do
you know a Jake's mum?
I do know a Jake's mum, and also I have been told I am a Jake's mum, which really surprised me. I was like, I'm sorry, look at the state of me. But it was the more looking at somebody else and going, I don't know how they juggle all of that. And then comparing yourself. And I am. I'm very good at being busy and managing it all. So that was interesting to think that I could be a Jake's mum to somebody else whenever I'm looking at somebody else going, how are you? Like, how are you wearing heels and a beautiful outfit and not screaming at your children, so I really connected to that. Trigonometry, that makes me laugh because that's always the thing in maths where you're like, well, what are you going to need this for? So it was just kind of like just life comes along. There's also a song called ILYRS,
yes,
which is called I Love You Ryan Seacrest. So in I Love You, Ryan Seacrest, she lists loads of other Ryans, and again I understood it, I connected to it, because she lists Seacrest, obviously, Ryan Gosling, Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Philippe, all the Ryans that you probably would have fancied growing up, because they were in all of the teen movies and probably still are working now. And this line, I just thought it was hilarious. I know you'll produce me one day and you'll make my dreams come true. Like, it's all really tongue-in-cheek and hilarious.
Is that the Ryan you would have chosen out of that list
No,
of lines?
absolutely not. I would have been Ryan Felipe all the way. Anyway, I feel like I'm talking a lot. Anyway.
But this is the point. This is your musical, so you will talk an awful lot.
Okay. At one point she has...
What's different?
Brenda is a single mum, and then her sister, who is a social media influencer, shows up 8 months pregnant.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, it's fine, I'm going to be a cool mum. I'm going to be a... So the song's called Literally the Best, and she's like, I'm not listening to anybody's advice. I'm going to be the best mum, sponsored by Amazon Prime. And you know, Brenda goes, well, do you know how to change a diaper? And she's like, well, how hard could that be? I'm just going to put them in cutesy onesies and play on my phone. You know, it's just really funny. And whenever you have children, people do offer you advice whether you want it or not, and it's up to you to take it. But sometimes people just are really negative about you giving advice.
The advice given.
I'm just going to do it my way, and then sometimes things don't work out and you need to then go back and ask for advice.
Do they do new mums almost take it as like I think so. You don't think I can do this?
Yeah,
like
I think so.
You think I need this advice to be able to do it, when in fact you're just like, here's a cool wee tip if you ever want it. If you take it if you want to, you don't have to. So Brenda's mum actually comes along at one point, and it's hilarious. Her song is like, it's called Somehow You Both Survived, and she sings about where's the first line is, you're both okay. I chucked you out in the backyard, but it was okay. We didn't have a fence, but you were okay. You learned your ABCs from Sesame Street while I was smoking a cigarette. You know, just all of those things that older people will say, oh, you were fine, you played on dirt and you ate in dirt and you were grand. But like, you were chucked out the back. I know I was chucked out the back garden, and I entertained myself for hours on end, but it was fine. You were in the back garden.
Yeah, exactly. She also says, I realise that things have changed, but some things remain the same. Kids will grow up and blame you for everything. And I'm like, you all go through that teenage stage. You all do. Another song which I literally could not have connected with more is I'm Never Going to Be Alone Again. Okay. So there's this thing called, if you have to announce to the room that you're going to the toilet, you are the default parent. If you do not have to announce that you're going to the toilet, you're not the default parent.
Right.
Because a default parent has to let everybody in the room know that they're going to be out of action for approximately 2 minutes, so that you don't get, Mom, where are you? And you do it in work. Yeah. It just automatically goes, I have to go to the toilet. You don't need to tell people.
Yeah.
But it's just something. For a long time, I had my kids quite close together in age. For a long time, I just stopped closing the door, like, as lovely as that is, because somebody always came looking for me. So it was just easier to have the door open. And she talks about, I hoped that I'll never poo alone again. I thought toddlerhood would be fun. Nobody has ever thought toddlerhood would be fun. And you just never feel like you have a moment to yourself. I wouldn't change it for the world, but it's just, I just want to pee. I'm in the toilet. Just let me be.
I remember hearing that line when I was listening to it. I was like, that's a really funny line about never pooing alone again.
And then there's a song about being on a plane, and it's like, I'm alone. I have nobody to look after. I can just sit and be me. And whenever I was going on holiday there to Chicago with my dad doesn't only flies like business class or first class, and I was like,
done. Just right.
Well, I'm not paying that price, I'll just, oh no, are you sure? And I was like, Dad, it's going to be 5 hours of me sitting alone. And like I said, Aaron is so supportive and great. Like, I do have the support at home, but I still am in charge of a lot of the household stuff. So just being able to sit for 5 hours and not have to, help with homework or tie somebody's shoelace or figure out what's for lunch, breakfast, lunch and dinner every single day. So I was like, oh, I get that. Another song which was hilarious is the Santa threat. So Santa Don't Go.
This was my favourite song. I thought this was absolutely hilarious, and I'm not a parent.
Oh, but so funny about how from about end of October time, after, you know, pretty much once Halloween's gone, whenever you have got young kids, you can threaten them with Santa. Tidy your room or Santa's not coming.
Yeah.
And then up until about February, you can still threaten them. Santa, we'll take back those toys.
Okay.
You know, and then you've kind of got those difficult months where you can't really threaten them with Santa.
What do I do?
And she's just like, Santa, please don't go, because I can't get my room tidy. I can't get, like, you know, the toys
without
can't be put away.
Threat, what have I left?
Exactly. So that's it. A lot of it was just talking to me as a parent. Never Alone. But the number one song that really spoke to me was Who I Am. And it's like the third from last song. So she is going through a divorce. She's single. She's meeting people and trying to, like, discover who she is. And a couple of the lines are, I keep all the weight on my shoulders. Who I am not good at falling apart. I am someone's mum, and that's a start. Who I am depends on who you're asking or who I admitted to be.
Yeah.
And I get it, because in work I'm one person, in another work I'm a different person, at home I'm a different person, with Aaron I'm a different person. And it is like, you do, you know, parents I think feel this, or anybody feels this, you don't want to fail. And the first time your parent turns one, or your child turns one, that's a new experience. First time they do something at age 12, that's a new experience. You're learning all the time. And when something doesn't go right, you feel it's a you know, you take it really personally. So all these new experiences are hard, but you don't want to admit that they're hard. You know, so I just loved the line, it does depend on who you're asking and who I've admitted to you that I've been. And that would be me. Like, some people might see me as one thing, but I can probably guarantee that there's only a handful of people that know the real me, because I'll put on, you know, this is who I am in this place.
That number is like the standout number of the show, isn't it? It's like the 11 o'clock number.
That is.
And it's catchy, like you remember it. I also thought it would be a perfect addition song for any girls. Like, it's a proper excellent song.
At the end, she has this, I am more than the above, I am capable of everything. And there's a girl, she's a poet called Holly, and it's like Poems by Holly, and she talks a lot about this identity loss whenever you become a parent, because you start off being you know, or you always are yourself, and then when you get married you become somebody's wife, or Aaron's wife. But then pretty much from a kids go to school, you're referred to as Jake's mum, or so I'm CJ's mum, or you know, and you never really get to know that person, because that's just that person's mum. So you become a whole new person for these people too. It's a great musical, really fun, really great to listen to. I found myself humming the I'm Basic song all the time. But I love the last bit at the end where it said, this is the life we wanted, and we want to blame Gen Z. So they blame everything on them. So that was my ramble about Millennials Are Killing Musicals.
It was really interesting, because when I listened to it I went, how could Lauren have picked a more perfect new musical for you? Do you know what I mean? I just thought, I knew before today that you will have absolutely loved it. Do you know what I mean? I
did love it, and it's definitely just going to be on my playlist
from now
to
on.
Just listen to. And I should say, on the Off-Broadway, the Christian Lloyd, she's from Dear Evan Henson. She played the original Alana Beck. So she had originated that role, Brenda. And I do hope more comes of this musical. I know Nico was working very hard, and she sort of has said a couple of times, like, how long does it take to get a musical on to Broadway? And people keep reminding, Hadestown took 12 years, you know. And she's not saying it as in it needs to be on. She's just saying, like, how much work
Yeah.
Does it take? You
Yeah.
know, this is something really good. People are responding to it well. Why are we having to go through all these struggles? But
Yeah.
I think that there's definitely a life to this.
I agree. Even if it's like it reminded me of like almost like cabaret theatre. You could do, you know, even if even if it's not like a full scale production,
Yeah.
you could do it very easily and really and coolly in like cabaret set, you know, setting
Yeah.
or like smaller scale venues and things like that. I thought, yeah, because it goes back to that I love you, you're perfect. That's where that works best, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? It's not created for that big, you know,
No, it doesn't
touring
need to
venue
be in a
type
big
thing.
No, I think of the intimate, and I think that's why that setting, it's like an old church turned into a theatre. I think that's why people have responded really well to it, because they're almost sitting on stage, and then it feels like you're a bit like how social media is. It feels like you've got a certain window into somebody's life, but they're only letting you see like a little bit. So the fact that you can maybe only see like half of her living room is showing you're not getting to see the full picture.
Yeah, fair. Very good. Excellent. Well, I'm glad you
thank you.
chose well and you enjoyed yourself. So happy days.
Yeah.
On to me.
On to you.
I've never listened so hard there. Oh my God. So, do you want to tell the folk at home the musicals you presented to me?
So I presented you Dogfight, which is... Yeah, I thought that was a good one for you. Passing Strange, which was one I came across very bizarrely. I think it was actually on social media. Assassins, Ushers, Tuck Everlasting, and then A Gentleman's Guide to Murder and Love.
So I'll do exactly what you did and explain the process of what my choice was. So I've seen a production of Dogfight, so I didn't choose Dogfight, although it is a great show. When I first saw I also know Tuck Everlasting because there's a few good songs in it for like musical theatre, like kids, like exams, like Winnie Foster. I can't listen anymore because I've heard it far too many times. So it was like, as much as it's a great musical or it sounds like a great musical, I can't be bothered listening to those songs again. I know Assassins because it's a Stephen Sondheim. And it might be one that's quite good to do at some point in the podcast, which left me with Passing Strange, Ushers, and A Gentleman's Guide to Murder and Love. Now, of those three, A Gentleman's Guide to Murder and Love first popped out of me because I have seen a number being performed in the Tonys one year, which looked highly entertaining and interesting. I think it was... I'm Going to Marry You. That song. So I was like, great, I'll listen to this. I started listening to it and it just was not clicking for me. In fact, other than that number, the rest of it's a bit boring. So I went, well, we'll cancel that off the cards, which left me with Passing Strange. Gave it a listen and I was like, nah. But so it left me with Ushers, the front of house musical, which actually, and you've already referred to it, was probably the perfect choice of those for me. Because I was a front of house usher for nearly 10 years. So I gave it a listen. And I also, a bit like you, absolutely loved it.
Love it.
And I think it is very observational, just like yours it was. And just like I Love You, You're Perfect Now Changes. And I love that type of musical theatre.
Yeah, me too.
Based on observations and then people write funny songs about it. So I love that. I love that type of comedy, all of that. So Ushers, the front of house musical, is a British musical comedy with music by Yanis Kotsakos. Why do I get the ones that you can't say? Kotsakos, Tsakos, and lyrics by James Oban, and Yanis also did the lyrics. The show focuses on front of house staff, their dreams and aspirations told in an irreverent way.
Love
and
it.
anytime there's irreverency, I'm all over it.
Yeah.
The musical premiered at the Hope Theatre in London in December 2013, and then transferred to the Charing Cross Theatre in 2014. And there's been many a thing in that Charing Cross Theatre, which the theatre itself is tiny, and I would love to go and see it, but any time I'm in London, I don't have time, or there's other things that like kind of bump it, but I will. It is on my list to see something in that theatre because it intrigues me as a theatre. After a run at the Edinburgh Fringe in August 2015, it moved back to London Arts Theatre for a limited run from September to October 2015. It is currently, or has just finished playing, today. It was in the Other Palace Theatre until the 19th of May, which is the date we're actually recording today, and that was to celebrate the musical's 10th anniversary. Set in a West End theatre, the show follows a working shift of the lives of the stagiest people in theatre, the front of house staff.
Absolutely.
And having been one of those front of house members of staff, I can verify that it takes a stagey person to work front of house in the theatre. There's plenty of characters to be found front of house. They portray the hilarious, ridiculous and moving stories of ice cream and programme sellers.
Love it.
Who dare to dream.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like the number of things that came up, I went, yeah, that's exactly it. A preview performance of a new jukebox musical is due to take place. A 3-year workplace romance is on the rocks, and an untrained newbie is working her first shift, and a manager is under pressure to cut costs.
Yeah.
All makes sense.
Yeah.
All of those happen. Like, unbelievably so. I have to be very careful as to what I say, that I don't land anyone in it. Where people go, I know who he's talking about. For anyone who knows me, who listens. Yeah. So what could possibly go wrong with all of that? So, the first song is called Welcome, and it's all about welcome to the theatre, come on in. And there's a few lyrics that just hit the nail on the head with regards to what theatres and the running of theatres is like from a front of house perspective. So one of the lyrics says, programs are going for £4, picture books are for £9. What's the difference? Yeah. And that is so true. Like, having sold the programs and having sold the show brochures, I'm going, what is the difference? Apart from a few extra pictures, like ridiculous, like that idea of difference in programs. Also then, in another, is it the same? Yeah, in the same number, they then say, we overcharge for programs and ice cream, and don't forget, oh no, that's the wrong one. Where is that?
Is that not in a different, is it Welcome
Back? It is
Back
in a different one. No, hold on. There's something, here we go. Yeah, so in the number induction, they make comment about programs versus playbills. Okay,
yes, with the American.
So playbills are obviously the program you get in America. So British programs for £4, playbills are free. Yeah. And that kind of like, I can go to America and get it for free. Yeah. You know, and I thought, and I also didn't remember the fact that playbills in America are free.
Right, okay. It's like part of the ticket cost.
Yeah, it's like, and that is brilliant because you do like to know who you're watching and stuff. Back to Welcome, they then say, the doors are open, the smiles are painted on, which they always were. Go grab a drink, the prices are a con. Yeah. 100%. Like, to be fair, the prices you spend for on anything now are ridiculous, but even before that, like what you would have paid for a drink at a theatre, and it's not just the theatre I worked at, all exactly the same, like unbelievably ridiculous. They also sing about no popcorn in the theatre, it's not a cinema. And I actually remember during my time working as a front of house, they brought popcorn in.
Oh, controversial.
And I was livid. And that was actually one of the things I said. Why are we selling popcorn? We're not a theatre.
We're not a cinema.
Or sorry, we're not a cinema. I was so cross. I was like, what is this? Like, theatres nationwide are like slipping. Like, the standards are slipping. This is a theatre, not a cinema. Who do we think? Like, I was proper, like, raging. Absolutely raging. Yeah. I was like, I'm not selling it. And they were like, push the popcorn. And I was like, nope.
I'm not a cinema.
We're not a cinema. Why are we selling it? And I'm stinking to... Did you know what I mean? Like, and then all the extra jobs that came with it, like picking up the popcorn, cleaning out the popcorn stand. I was like, whose idea was this? Why are we selling popcorn? So that made me giggle a lot, because I do still have... It boils my... blood.
Yeah.
Another line, now you're late. You're going to have to wait.
Yeah.
Don't moan at me. It's not my fault. Your bus, your train, your tube, your plane delayed. Latecomers was like, honestly, the number of confrontations I got into in the years with latecomers, and it's like, well, you're late. Well, can we not go in? No, you're late. Well, can we not just go in now? And it's like, no. That's why you need to be here on time.
Yeah.
And also, to be fair, it wasn't us. Like, talk to the company.
Yeah.
The shows set the moment that you
allowed,
are allowed in. But yeah, latecomers made me laugh. And then there's a line about so we overcharge for programmes and ice cream, and don't forget the pre-collected restoration fee.
Yeah. And
I went, oh my goodness, like because my theatre had a restoration fee on their ticket prices. Yeah. But clearly that's a con that all theatres do. Yeah. Like, and let's add on an extra couple of quid. Yeah. So, like, every theatre now must have a restoration fee. Because it is, like, true. Like, any ticket you buy, regardless of whether you're in the West End, they all seem to have these flipping restoration fees. And the price of tickets is expensive enough.
It is expensive. It is.
Then that number spend per head, which is the manager's number. Laugh. Yeah, about... basically all of the things that are required. The key to this job, they say, is learning how to deal with a snob. 100%. There must be something about theatre that just attracts snobs in their droves. Okay. Yeah, there was many a snobbery customer, but you can imagine me with a snob, can't you? Yeah, they didn't get away with much, let me tell you. Then there was a song called Leading Men, where one of the front of house girls is like kind of talking about how she just like falls in love with every leading man. And it's true. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, what is the attraction to leading men?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Love the catchy tunes and insightful discussions on musical lyrical lingo? Why would you not? Now you can reap your fandom. Ooh, we've got fans. And show off your love of all things musical theatre with our exclusive merchandise. Ooh.
From comfy tees,
t-shirts,
mugs to stylish tote bags, we have something for every fan. Our designs are inspired by the show's iconic themes.
Because we are so iconic.
And featured playful quotes, alpha, ba, and graphics that will have you humming along.
I will never work again.
Wherever you go.
So head over to our merch store now and start shopping. Spend your money, people. And don't forget to share your pics on our social media using hashtag podcast musical lyrical lingo merch. We love to see our fans rocking our gear.
Yes, we do. Happy shopping. It's an odd one, isn't it? But it's like, is it because of the leading man you think, oh, they must be so good to get that part? So is it the talent, is what you're attracted to rather than like them? Or is it this aura they give off? Or you just think, oh, leading man.
I know. I mean, she sings leading men. There's something about them. Like, she can't even say what it is. Like, but like, it is like, why? Why? What is the pull to a leading man? Because not all leading men are attractive. Like, I'm like, so it's not necessarily.
It not always looks. No.
Looks.
Yeah, I think it's more the talent.
The talent or the
Combination
they're
of
the
authority,
leading man, like,
oh, yeah. Is it like, you know, go back to primal days or something, where you're like, oh, that's the person that can look after me and keep me safe? And
well, EP over there, executive producer Aaron has just pointed his finger. He's awoken from his slumber. Were you a leading man? Was I heck, he says. We haven't given him a mic today because he was snoozing. Do you want to pick your mic up and speak into it so we can hear what you're saying? See, you didn't interrupt Lauren when she was doing hers.
Apologies. Yeah, that's what my mind went. You know, it's one of like the attraction in history, like whoever controlled the resources.
yeah,
And that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
a person in power, a person in authority, probably the same way that people are attracted to sports players. You know, with that comes money and
Yeah.
success and security that's offered with that position.
Well, I mean, like, for many years I was the third dancer to the left. For many years, and nobody paid me one bit of attention. And then when I got my first leading man, my God, they were dropping at my feet. Well, it was. I was the definition of chorus boy. Like, if I was like, hire a chorus boy, they hired me. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was many a... I was always... however...
that's going to be a t-shirt. I was the dancer.
Is that the next one? However, always third dancer to the left in the front row of the chorus.
Oh, that's it. That is important.
You never saw me dancing in the back row.
No.
But then when I became a leading man, honestly, you would have thought...
You had to get a big stick.
To beat them all off.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, talk about flavour of the month. I'm still flavour. Flavour. Have I muted his right mic before he says something highly inappropriate? Anyway... In the induction, we were talking about, that was the one that mentioned about the free playbills. They sing about you've got your stagies who think they know everything.
Oh my gosh, it's us, isn't it?
Excuse me. I think I might have been one of those stagies they're talking about. No, to be fair, like, everybody who works front of house is a stagey. Like, they all think they know everything, which makes it quite an interesting
combination of people together.
Place to work. Now this, they then said, excuse me, will the cast come to the stage door? Right, which was one of those questions that you were asked often. Now, quite topical at the moment. So let's talk about stage door. Are you a stagey? Are you a stage door kind of person?
This is a tough one. I feel like I'm not, the older I've gotten, and I think a lot of it comes from respect of realising that they're doing their job and they want to get home. But whenever I was younger and not involved in a production, and there was somebody that I maybe really wanted to see, I probably would have went to the stage door just to see. Now, as somebody coming out, whenever we would have done pantos and stuff, and if we came out and people were like, oh my goodness, will you sign us? It was like a real, like, thrill.
Well, that was the attention I got when I was the leading man.
You were the leading man.
That's what I had to deal with, Lauren.
Okay, so I could see why people would do it, because they would think that they like the attention, but I think they can be hounded at the stage door, so it's very difficult.
Well, and this was the point I wanted to bring up. I have not been a stagey. I find it quite awkward, but I think it's because of working in the theatre that I knew what it's like for, you know, or how it can just be a wee bit ox.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned that the level of stages and the level and the behaviour of people at stage door is, like many things in theatre, including theatre etiquette, like deteriorating. And I think
people aren't being respectful at all.
They're not, and they're overstepping boundaries, you know, and they're taking advantage of the kindness of the performers, because let's be honest, they're doing a job which they're going to have to do again tomorrow. So I don't agree with the walking out of stage door and blanking people who are there.
No.
I think that's rude from the artist's point of view. But it's been in the media recently, Hadestown star Melanie Labari, who is playing Hades.
Yes.
She has come out and actually said she won't be doing stage door for the foreseeable future, because she's had a number of occasions where people have overstepped the mark, and the straw that broke the camel's back, I think, for her was she had left stage door and she was walking down the road and somebody came and grabbed her from behind, and that's a scary thing.
Absolutely.
And that's like, but personal space, like where did these people think that's acceptable behaviour? So I just wondered what your
No, I agree. And I know Hannah Lother, who is she's currently the alternate for Hard and
one of the other queens.
And she is she's had the same thing where she has a massive TikTok following, like over 1 million, and people have followed her journey, and she has said, you need to give me the space whenever we're at stage door, you know, not just me and other people. It's very scary. And I know that there was a couple of months back actually a fan was hurt by another fan who, you know, almost got trampled on, and it's just like, if it's lovely that you want to see them, but you have to understand that if you had just done like a 2-hour show and you were absolutely exhausted, you maybe wouldn't want to be grabbed. So just be respectful and
just don't come anywhere near me. It's fine for you to be there and go, hello, well done, thank you.
But don't invade that personal space.
I think so.
And I know Tim Minchin. He did the same at the arena tour of Jesus Christ Superstar, and he just said that part was just so emotionally draining for him that he just couldn't do stage door, and he got a lot of backlash from it. And I actually think he got a lot of backlash from it in Belfast, which is really annoying. Just to say that he always does stage door at Matilda and Groundhog Day, but this one was just too much, and he just couldn't. And that was the reason for it, and I think that's perfectly understandable.
But that the word, I'm trying to find that word, that, you know, people who do stage door expect everybody to come out of stage door, and how dare they not? Like that entitlement, I suppose. It's like, no, stuff that. Nobody says they have, it's not in their contract that they have to do stage door. If they do, that's their choice, and you got to respect when maybe they don't feel like it. But I thought it was quite interesting that it came up in Ushers, the front of house musical. Then there's another lyric in Induction that says, you've got to smile, nod, and smile some more, and listen to some old questions you've answered before. And that is the thing. It is the same stupid questions all the time. In fact, it is quite entertaining to, you know,
count how many times you asked
exactly that. Like, how many daft questions are you going to get tonight? And theatre audiences always do have silly questions, but it's actually the stupid questions which make the job fun. Like, you know, it's what, because selling ice creams and programs can be a wee bit monotonous, but the silly questions, keep it going, absolutely. Then they sing about, you have to look out for the people on their phones.
Oh yes.
Which is, honestly, why do people bring their you see, it actually, this triggered me a wee bit, this musical, because I was like,
flashbacks?
Yes, why? Like, you know, they highlight everything that's wrong with front of house etiquette.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, put your phone away. Why are you doing that? But when the bell goes, you usher them back inside and remind them of the one rule which they all must abide: no photos. And I was like, yeah, remember that? I've said that many times before. Have you listened to all the people who just want to moan? These are all the lyrics. I was like, yep. Then they sing about the parts I could have played. And that is every front of house. Like, they are like frustrated performers. You know, they're like, yeah, I could have played that.
Either an usher or a waiter is a frustrated performer.
I mean, I could have played that. Like, I could have done that better. Like, and you're like, do you want to shut up because you're talking nonsense? I'd have given that a go. I mean, obviously I said all these things, but I could have carried, you know, I would have been able to carry it out.
Absolutely.
Then there's a song called It's Time to Let Go, which just again kind of talks about that monotonous routine of regional theatre for an usher. You know, they sing about, I can't take another original cast, a few weeks work, and then we have, and then we go another mediocre show.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and there's times in regional theatre where it's just one mediocre bad show after another. I do have to say, I think now the standard of touring theatre is so much better than what it was when I worked front of house, but it's just like, oh my goodness, you sit in a stool, you get shouted at and ignored, and then you've got to watch mediocre shows.
Okay, yeah.
Am I selling it to anybody?
Yeah.
Then song interval preparations. There was many a job for making sure you were prepared for the interval. Time for some irrational customers to say, there's no spoon in my ice cream. Can I have one, please?
Look under the lid.
I know, but I flippin' loved that. I was like, you have one, sir. It's in the tub under the lid. Arsehole. I only said that as he walked away. Then, welcome back, Act 2.
I like that wee song.
Yeah, there were a few things. Glasses, first of all. Glass in theatre. As we have said, no glass in here. We saw you sneaking in your beer.
Yeah.
It's like, can you get out with your glasses? Drunk customers. Please take your seat. And I must insist, look out for him. He looks quite pissed. I don't get it.
Like, it's only a 15-minute interval. Why do they get so drunk?
But I also don't understand people who come to the theatre and do get drunk. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're looking to have, like, if you're looking to get drunk and enjoy your drink, go to a pub or go to a club.
Yeah,
like,
it seems like a weird place.
Or, you know, come to the theatre, enjoy yourself at the theatre, maybe have one drink or one or two drinks, and then go out after. But
especially the price.
Yeah, I just don't get it. And then, interestingly, again, and perfect timing, because this very week, it was, I read a couple of articles from Broadway, showing a lot of concern. So Cabaret, the new version of Cabaret, has just opened in Broadway.
Yeah.
And it's having massive issues with audiences and drinking and being intoxicated. Now, it's very disappointing because they have made some choices in this production which are supposed to enhance the theatre experience.
Yeah.
So in this new version of Cabaret, which like wiped, stole all of the Olivier's last year, when it opened in London, there's a 75-minute prologue, they call it, were offered before the show starts, in which dancers perform in the Kit Kat Club like it is, a club during, the war times. And attendees are all given a free shot of snaps when they arrive.
Okay.
Then they can buy overpriced champagne and cocktails that we've already talked about. And they're also served during the show if you are sitting in a certain part of the theatre. Okay. So right at the front of the stage, you've got like, wee round tables like a cabaret club. So it is encouraged, but it's to set a scene of, they want the audience members to feel like they are in Germany, they are in a cabaret club. But don't take the mickey and don't get absolutely sloshed and plastered, because it's now interrupting the show. Yeah. Because of people we know what happens when we drink. We have to get up and go back and forward to the toilet in the middle of the show, and people are just getting absolutely hammered.
Yeah, I don't think that works. That's not right.
Yeah. Then, probably of all of the lyrics in Ushers, the musical, that made me laugh the loudest out loud was about the women's toilets.
Oh my gosh, the worst queues you will ever stand in.
Yes.
Why?
So, I know, I don't get it, but it's also not like it's not a my theatre thing. Like we, there was always a queue for the women's toilets in the theatre I worked in. But like every theatre you go to, it's the one time you feel really smug to be a man going to the theatre because you just walk past.
It's so frustrating.
I'm so glad I'm a man.
And you literally spend your 15 minutes at the interval in a queue to go to the toilet.
Exactly. So they say there's still a queue outside the ladies' loos. What can you do? It's time for Act 2. Yeah. I just thought that's brilliant. They mention about sweets as well. Please don't scrunch when you eat your sweets, which drives me insane. Like I have actively tutted and sighed and gone shh when I've been in the theatre watching, and there have been people like, can you just like eat sweets that aren't in wrappers, because that would be really good. Or do you know what? It's not a long time.
Yeah, I know.
You don't need to stuff your face.
No.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Then the last song is called Goodbye, and it's the ushers sing, our shift is nearly done, it's time for us to head home, there is one thing left to do, just to clean up after you.
Yeah.
And genuinely, that was my least, like, give me rude customers and obnoxious customers any day, I could deal with them. What I hated was when I first started working as an usher, we still had something called the pickup.
Okay.
So at the end of every performance, we had to pick up the rubbish that was in the auditorium.
Okay.
People are tramps. Yeah. Some people are real tramps. And cleaning up the sick was bad enough. Panto season, horrific. Like, yeah. I actually can't. Like, so if a child was sick in school now, I can't go anywhere near it. I'm like, no, I've done my time. I've done my time. Cleaning up vomit from children at Panto who have eaten crap for 45 minutes and spewed it all over my lovely carpet.
No.
But yeah, we had to do a pickup at the end of every show.
And I bet
now
there were some
that then, I don't know if it was a union thing, but that then changed in that we didn't.
Oh, okay.
And then, so you left it, and then the cleaners would have come in. The only time you would have had to do a pickup then was if it was like a matinee into an evening performance.
Okay.
So you'd have had to do a pickup after the matinee performance so that the auditorium was clean for the evening. But I hated the pickup. And just one more, there's a queue outside the ladies' loo, and that's how literally Goodbye, the last song ends. And I thought, yep, that is absolutely true. So yeah, there you go. There's Ushers the musical. It suited me right down to the T.
It really did. And whenever I was listening to it, I knew actually it would probably be one that you would have been drawn to.
Yeah.
But I thought that maybe you had already listened to it, so I didn't know if you would select it from the list. But whenever I listened to it, I was like, oh, I bet you Timothy's giggling away at that.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like it was more experience.
Yeah.
The experiences you would have had. Yeah.
I just like that type of like song cycle musical. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, so that's 2 new musicals that we have sort of talked about.
Please do go and listen to them, because they're really, I think they're really good, and they are very funny. Yeah,
and I loved it. I loved that whole experience. So I think we'll definitely do it again.
For sure.
And maybe like with a different, I think they could continue to do it, you know, every once in a while.
I mean, I'm already looking out for unknown musicals to add to the list for Lauren.
Love it, that's good.
That was fun.
It was fun, and hopefully it's slightly different learning, but hopefully you've learned something from this podcast.
Yeah, but do go and listen to those 2 new musicals.
Yeah, do.
Until next week.
Bye.
Bye.